They taking your money right in front of your face. You gonna let them keep doing it?
I'm on the mezzanine. I go so hard just to fuck up my enemies. Don't need revenge, success is the remedy. Ain't for the top, I'ma do them like Kennedy. Mixing champagne with their Hennessy. They falling off, all these niggas is winning leaves. Life gave me limits, I came out with simply.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Name's Ndeezy, and today we're gonna talk finances. I can guarantee you that 99.9% of people have fallen into one of these money pitfalls, including myself. And I just figured that if I've tripped on a rock, it's my duty to make sure other people don't trip on the same rock. Goodness gracious, my goddamn hair. Look like a damn unicorn. Can't get it to go down. Y'all just gonna have to deal with it in the video. And the whole reason I'm talking about finances really is because ultimately, your passions, your goals, your interests, they require money. Like for instance, this camera I just bought, it requires money. So it will behoove you to be able to not lose your money to interest and to debt, so that way you can pay for the things that are more important. I live in America, and we live in a very privileged country where we have access to so much capital. That's not the same way as it is in other parts of the world. I have a sister-in-law whose parents are building a house, and they have to literally pay for it as they build it because they don't have access to credit in certain other countries. But in America, you can be 18 years old and take out $100,000 worth of student loan debt, or you can pre-qualify for a house. So it comes with its pros and cons. But what I want to stress today though, is that with the privilege and benefit of being able to have access to so much capital, the downfall is you can bring yourself to be in so much debt you can't even see the sky. So I'm gonna hit 3 big things that are preventing you from spending money on your passion. You could be throwing that into your business. You could be throwing that into content creation, whatever it is that you're passionate about. But don't let these 3 things steal that from you. They taking your money, it's ridiculous.
Look, saint versus sinners, the poor versus riches, top ramen place versus 5-star dinners. Wonder why I fit in, the humblest beginnings. Had to take some losses before I saw my first winnings. Silver line.
The first big thing that so many people spend money on that is stifling their financial future are car notes. And again, with each example, I'm gonna talk about how I made that same mistake. And it's not to make anybody feel guilty, but just to give you good and proper insight on how much money these things are really costing you. Whenever I got back to Texas, I was working out of state in Indianapolis for a little bit. And when I finally got back home, the first thing I wanted to do was buy a car. So I bought a 2015 Jeep Wrangler. It was one of my dream cars. And I love that car. I've since sold that car to not have as much debt, but I love that car. I was making about $86,000 a year, and the note was only about $600. It was a no-brainer. I wanted the car, I could afford it on paper, so I bought it. Sticker said $30,000. All right, cool, I'll pay that off, no problem. But see, what I didn't realize though is you're not paying $30,000 for that car, man. Nah, not even close. They're gonna charge you interest on top of every payment that you make for that car. Just look at your statements whenever you pay. They'll have a breakdown of how much interest you're actually paying. More of the money is going towards financial institutions as opposed to that car. So, and I'm not saying that there isn't a time and place to have a car note. Sometimes you need it when you're in a quick pinch and stuff, I get that, but don't let that be the norm. Car notes shouldn't be the norm. I think buying cars in cash should be the norm. And I don't necessarily mean like a car for $30,000, but you know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 if you save over time. I think that'd be the best option for somebody who doesn't want to have a car note, or really, I think that'd be the best option for most Americans, in my opinion. Car notes take so much money for most Americans, and I think it needs to be called out. If you trade in a car, you think you're getting a good deal, they're just gonna roll that negative equity into the car, and your car note is gonna be even more. These corporations where you buy cars are $1 million corporations. I don't care how smart you think you are, they know the profit margins they need to hit, and they're gonna hit them. And you're gonna help them hit those margins. And on top of that, cars are depreciating assets. You make no money off of owning a car. You lose money, especially if you buy it new. And now, me and my wife only have one car that we share. I sold my Jeep and it is fully paid off. Is it the coolest car? No, it's not a terrible car, but it don't got a car note, and that's the kind of car I like the best.
Remember late nights cruising and wasn't nothing to it. Flicking up the shit, we about to make a movie. Pouring up a cup, we about to set the mood in the cup, rolling up, smoking something groovy. I get excited when you're not biased. Love is in my head, I won't stop trying. I get excited.
And if you're wondering, I'm walking around right now because I'm trying to lose weight. I have a trip planned to Japan this summer, and I just want to make sure I get down to like 175. I previously lost that weight last year, and I gained it all back, or most of it back. But I'm gonna do it again. I've done it before. I'm gonna just do it better this time. So taking y'all for this little bit of walk, and I might as well yap and talk about what I'm passionate about. And I like to see people be able to save their money and invest it so that way they can live a fruitful life and have money work for them instead of, working for money their whole life. If you like inspirational or motivational content, do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe. I post weekly videos. Come along for the ride. All right, now the second thing I wanna talk about are credit cards. Credit cards, to me, are the most insidious things in the world if you don't use them properly. I remember back when I was in undergrad, I got this credit card from Chase, and they offered me $6,000 worth of credit. Now, to put it in context, I was working at HEB, I was making about 10 bucks an hour. So the fact that this company trusted me with $6,000, I knew they had messed up and I was finna run it up. So what did I do? I started buying things that I couldn't afford. I told myself I was gonna pay it off every month and not have any interest, but that's not what happened. So long story short, I ended up spending a bunch of extra money on regular ordinary purchases because I had to pay interest because I didn't pay it off at the end of each month. I wouldn't recommend credit cards for most people, but if you do get them, they do have some fantastic benefits, but just make sure that you pay the balance off every month. And if you know you're not able to do that, you don't have that self-control, I would just not use them. Because again, when you don't pay that balance off every month and you gotta pay towards interest, these companies are getting rich and you could be using that for way better causes. I actually do have a credit card, but I pay the balance off every month. And because of the points and everything, me and my wife are gonna go to Japan in business class, and I got those tickets for about 250 bucks each. So there is a benefit to having credit cards, but only if you pay the balance off every single month. And also have a budget. Make sure you only spend on that credit card what you would have normally spent. Don't try to spend extra money just to get the points. If you do those two things with a credit card, you'll be all right.
Beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, move G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in the club. I'm in the lab trying to sharpen up the sword, swinging blades.
And last one, student loans is probably the form of debt that is most personal to me, just because this is the only one I have left actually. I started out last year with $92,000 worth of student loan debt, basically $100,000. And I can proudly say now that through saving and being intense, I only owe about $36,000 now. So in less than a year, I've been able to pay off more than half of that balance, which is such a blessing. Thank God. When you go to college, look for scholarships. Try to not have so many loans to go to school. I get it has to happen. I got a friend who went to law school, and law school is pretty expensive. Her parents couldn't float it. She couldn't float it. You have to take out loans. I get it. Not everybody has the privilege of having their school paid for them. But all I'm saying is just be wise with it, because these student loans start to accumulate interest before you even apply for your first job, before you walk into the interview, before you start your first day on the job. Interest starts to accumulate. So just keep that in mind. What degree are you getting? Is it a degree that's gonna be able to help you see a return on that investment? Because that's what it is. I love that people have passions. I love that people want to change the world in their own unique way. But when it comes to borrowing money, a financial decision, it has to be strategic. It cannot be something that you know is gonna be worth it in the long run. Not trying to pick on nobody. I'm a psychology major. I kind of went through a lot of those same things. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what area of expertise I wanted to get my degree in, and I knew I had to ultimately go to grad school. So just think about that before you take out these big loans, because I guarantee you, every time I pay them, I'm happy because the balance is going down, but I'm not happy because my money going down too. So keep that in mind. So that's all I have for today. I just wanted to talk about 3 ways that you're being robbed of your money. And I just want people to just be conscious of that. We live in a country that is amazing. We have a lot of privileges being in this country, but you are being taken advantage of if you are not being financially literate. I'm not saying you have to do anything crazy right now, but just be aware of that. Just be aware of how much you're paying in interest per month. When does your interest start to accrue? What happens if you don't pay your student loans for 6-7 months? How much interest are you accruing over that time? Just be aware, because I don't want you to look up like me, you know, and see a bill for $92,000 and freak out. Don't do that. Do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next week. But until then, if you want to see the origin story of my student loans, I'll put a video up on the screen now. Just remember, with God, you can do anything. I'll see y'all later. Peace.